Hey guys, it's Oluchi for Ways Breakfast. Thanks for always tuning in. Our research has shown that you're probably not subscribed to our channel. What are you waiting for? Make sure you hit that subscribe button below so you never miss out on our latest content and stay in the loop with all things Ways. If the channel grows, it means more great content for you guys. So hit that subscribe button now.
Hello and welcome to What Are You Saying? Hashtag Ways, where we talk about topics in the news as it affects us all. I am Osayome Saleh, and today I'm not alone in the studio. I have with me Franca Oswago and Messi Apang.
Please, can you just keep up with my other name?
Nah.
Don't do that.
It's either Apang or Okpebolo. Which one do you prefer?
Are you actually asking Opebolo to check me out?
Which one do you prefer?
No. Because that's not my name. So
Okpebolo is single.
I thought
At
Okpebolo
least
was
it
her
was
real name.
established.
you can put a call across to him. I would concede that. I would think about it.
You know, I actually thought that was her real name.
That's not my real name. That's the governor. Has he been sworn in yet?
She's teasing you.
Don't do that.
Messi.
Yeah, what's everyone looking at?
How are you?
You're pretty.
Oh, thank you.
You're pretty.
Works. Give me
You're,
some dollars.
you're
Give me
you're
some
ready for
money.
ready for the weather.
Man, this weather is bipolar.
This today's weather was bipolar actually.
Because
It was
one minute you're
I was
not
just
sure
re-
whether it's raining.
and it's just raining.
The next minute, the weather is
I
different.
didn't know it rained.
And it
until I
started from
got to-
morning.
Oh, it did.
I didn't know it rained until I
You go
got
to
to
the
our
island.
world.
Oh
Yeah.
really? It didn't rain on the mainland.
What did I notice?
You guys
Oh,
are
okay.
living in a different world.
Honestly, it was just funny. Like it first started very early in the morning this morning.
No, I think it rained in the morning.
You didn't need to whisper. So it's been happening like that for a couple of days now, and it's very unpredictable.
And I don't even. So the part I don't really like is the fact that the rain is not coming with a very cool weather. The weather is a bit
harsh.
The weather is a bit humid. And I don't like humid
so
weather.
so despite the fact that there's a downpour, the
It's
weather
just
is
humid. It's
And
not-
another thing that stands out, and this is a call to the Lagos State government, please, let's look at the roads that concerns us, whether the local roads where the local government should fix. The roads are horrible, the potholes. And that's why we always have traffic whenever, it rains. Please,
We know
can
it's
we
coming.
fix it?
Okay. On that note, if you're yet to subscribe to our YouTube channel, please fix this one first. Go and click on the subscribe button. This one is easy to fix. You just need to click on the subscribe button and share, like, and invite your families and friends to also watch and follow the conversations. I mean, we have new shows coming there, so be intentional about supporting the Waze brand and the Upgrade TV brand. All right, so tonight is our ladies' night out, and we'll be discussing the conversation around the former president that had, responded to World Bank statement of the alarming report of 20 million out-of-school children. And here's what we found as today's quote. It says, "Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world." And this was from Nelson Mandela. When we open our phone lines, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this 20 million children out of school. What do you think the impact will be on our security architecture, our economy, generally on us as Nigerians? What would that look like, the impact? But first, let's run off on a break. When we come back from that break, we want to see what we found in today's news. Stay with us. All right, thanks for staying with us. Now, International Stuttering Awareness Day is observed on October 22nd each year. The day aims to increase awareness about stuttering, promote understanding of the challenges faced by individuals who stutter, and encourage acceptance and support from the community. Now, various organizations and speech language pathologists often hold events, workshops, campaigns to educate the public and provide resources for those affected by stuttering. It's a day to celebrate the achievements of individuals who stutter and to advocate for their rights and needs. Ah, this day. So I had a schoolmate when I was in primary school that used to stutter. You know how children just like you're in love with someone and you just want to like be like the person. So me to say stuttering a you know. Hey, you see, I was speaking English. I just changed them immediately
for
you.
Were actually going to say something very nice. You know, I told you the way she was.
She was watching.
I was watching.
I said, next thing I would thought, my mother is slapped. So I have because it was not like it was something that and I see that with children. It grows on them, and even with adults, right? If you hang around your friends a lot and they use specific words, you find yourself just using those words,
just like you.
So that, do you understand?
Do you understand?
Intentionally,
you understand. This was you don't put up my mouth.
The way she said, saying, I'm like,
yeah. You know, so the thing with stuttering is, yeah, for some people it's actually very, very what's it called, what's the word now? It's a condition for them. But I've seen that a lot of children, you know, that are around people that stutter, it's very easy for them to pick it up. So, and it's also very easy for you to actually through therapy, speech therapy, and all of that, it can also be corrected.
Yeah, it can.
So it's something that, you know, I mean, I was helped, you know, very early to quickly nip it in the bud because
by the slap.
I don't know where the thing was there.
See,
they just give me factory research.
You only factory research.
You know when she was taking the story, I just almost was going to laugh like loudly, and then I had to put myself together because mine is a similar case. Right? So I used to imitate my cousin who was like a stammerer, and so I started stuttering. And it was just something for me. It wasn't because I admire him a lot. So I don't know what it was. I don't know what I was just good.
Him around you.
So I just noticed that whenever he was going to say something, I was like, you know, I started doing that, and I think that sometimes I still do that.
Yes, it has stuck.
It's really bad. So I'm just like, I started stuttering because my cousin used to stutter, and it's just so unfortunate that we don't even understand the lack of awareness or knowledge about a certain, you know, illness or whatever it is. A condition. You know, that's the proper word. And then we begin to, you know, imitate and try to copy. Funny.
Yeah, but hey,
bad things that we copy.
We love you the way you are. But I think, you know, if it's a challenge for you, I think I mean, these days you actually have very amazing speech therapists. They do a great job.
They do great jobs, yeah.
They do a great job. And, you know, some people it's also psychological. So you have to, first of all, kill it from your mind before you can then, you know. I mean, communication is something that is so beautiful if you're able to have people around you. I remember I was saying to Franca that I never used to speak English properly like this. You know, I just had a great person around me at the time, you know, who just saw me and took interest in the fact that this person has so much potential. See, I'm speaking English like, you know, I know what I'm doing. Well, hey, and that's the beauty of, and this is why I'm in the media space, right? The beauty of exposure, the beauty of education, the beauty of information. Because had I not had that information at that time, I would not be where I am today. So it's very important that you intentionally pay attention to your weaknesses, and also that same intention, use it to help yourself, you know, build or work on those weaknesses. Very soon it just disappears. You know, I don't know how I became who I am today, but I know where I was before, you know, and I knew how much intentionality was put into the journey that I am on today. So it's very important that, you know, don't joke with those kinds of information. So if you're out there and you're stuttering, I mean, it's something that you can be helped, you know, especially if it's a problem for you, especially if you are in a profession that requires that you communicate. You know, it's tougher for them. You know, if they're in the back end, you know, you're just one programmer somewhere, nobody really cares. But if you have to now be in front of the public, I've seen some people that overcame stuttering just because they love the idea of public speaking. They want to speak to a crowd. You can't be doing that and be stuttering. So they had to overcome it. So you can be helped. Yeah, on that note, let us move on. Messi, are you ready?
Are we starting with me now?
I'm asking if you're ready.
No, I'm not.
Franca, please, what's your news story?
Davido, Burna Boy to feature in...
Well,
I didn't want to do any of those. Okay, so Davido, Burna Boy to feature in NPFL All-Star Game.
that's all.
That's all. Nigerian music sensation Davido and Burna Boy, alongside with Nigerian pop music stars, are set to feature in the inaugural Nigerian Premier Football League All-Star Game, organized in partnership with Nigerian foremost sports marketing company, Nilayo Sports Management. The event will feature a thrilling football showdown between top players from the northern and the southern region of the league, promising an exciting blend of sports and entertainment.
Nice.
Speaking in a press conference held in Abuja on Monday, NPFL Chairman Honorable Gbenga Elegbeleyi highlighted the significance of All-Star Game in raising awareness and promoting the league. We're trying to replicate the success we saw last year with the Super Six tournament, okay, where fans from across the country gathered in Nnamdi Azikiwe Stadium, Enugu, to celebrate Nigerians' homegrown soccer stars. It was a huge success with Super Sport Broadcasting live event. So, something away from politics.
I like this. I didn't even know it was Nilayo that was doing it. So we
yes,
should invite
Nilayo.
the CEO of Nilayo again. Let him come and tell us what is going on.
Yeah, I think
he's a friend of the house. Huh?
Okay, so I think he's making because it's Burna Boy and Davido.
That's why he's making news.
That's why he's making news, because I saw somewhere where Kate Henshaw was saying that, no, it was Wizkid and Burna Boy, that Kate Henshaw mentioned that Davido was supposed to say hello to Wizkid or something.
They'll be all right. Auntie, what's your news story? Like, all those beef. I mean, I think it's just to continue to stream their songs.
So the World Bank tells Tinubu to cut wasteful expenditure under his watch, including purchase of vehicles. That's my story tonight. Now, according to that report from the World Bank, don't forget that the World Bank has really been in the business of Africa, especially Nigeria, for a very long time. And, we're in some sort of romantic relationship. Well, according to the report, it's been stated that the Tinubu's administration spent 9.2 billion in 3 months to purchase state house vehicles. Another report also noted that this government, led by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, spent 250 million for decoration within 5 days for the First Lady's event. There's also another report where this government also spent another sum of 14 billion naira on renovations, honorariums, and the purchase of forex despite economic hardships. And then don't forget the fact that we had also recently spent or bought a presidential jet that was quoted to have cost 150 billion. So it is on this premise that the World Bank, of course, our partner in bed, is advising us on what to do, telling the president, hey, you need to cut down. And like I've always said, there's nothing wrong in borrowing, especially for a country, because we've seen countries of the world borrow. You see China, you see the United States of America, people borrow. But the question is, what do you borrow for? What are we borrowing for? When we want to talk about the borrowings, and some people say you need to look at the when we look at the threshold for our borrowings, we don't think that we have exceeded it, so we're within capacity to continue to borrow. But it's quite unfortunate, because if you look at the entire budget, if you look at the budget of a country as ours, what we propose to spend as a country and what we also propose to make as a country, we find out that we're not even able to, what we're even spending or what we're even borrowing is more than what we even estimate to actually generate as a country. And so therefore it doesn't really make sense, because if you're not borrowing for infrastructural development, because I'll tell you, where your money is where your heart is. So you want to look at where we're directing our monies to. It's not anything that's, bringing economic development or the development to the country. So it's unfortunate that it has to take a body like the World Bank, even though I'm not a great fan of the World Bank or the IMF, to tell the Nigerian president to cut on her expenditure, especially buying cars, because it doesn't make sense. You're borrowing.
Do you need the World Bank to tell you that? I mean, are you not supposed to be very clear on what is going on? So speaking to that, in continuation from where you stopped, Professor Patutomi has claimed that the nation is presently a failure, and it was made worse by the lack of alternative thinking to turn things around. According to Patutomi, the lack of alternative thinking was was worsened by a total capture of the legislature and judiciary, as he described the present National Assembly as the worst thing that happened to Nigeria. He argued that the National Assembly, which should be the platform of four robust debates to turn around the nation's fortune, has been captured. And he was speaking, he also said that Nigeria was a tragic failure because the political class and the elites, particularly the legal elite, right, are self-centered rather than thinking of the common good of the nation. There's something I am currently doing at the MBA program where we talk about action learning. And one of the points that were raised is the fact that, imagine if we are able to think or apply action learning to the problems and the challenges that we have as a nation. So meaning that people at all levels, right, are able to come together, think about the problem. This is the problem that we face in Nigeria, and how can we all contribute towards that, finding a lasting solution to that problem. Just imagine that. If we can think it, it is going to be possible. And that's where I see what Patutomi is saying. Today I read somewhere, I don't know if you saw that they say that the president has did he commission now, or they've marked money to build judges' quarters. You saw that report, right? So, if they are telling you that the judiciary is compromised, you understand, it is very clear from all the things that are going on that, there has to be some fire, smoke in that. They say there's no smoke without fire, right? There's some fire inside that smoke, because now they are building judges' quarters in Abuja for the judiciary, right? And there has been several allegations of how monies were moved, to the judiciary during the the panel, for the elections, for the post-elections, trials or whatever that happened. So I don't know. It's interesting. We'll just keep watching. But the judiciary will argue with you that no, they are working. But I always say that for us to have a balanced society, there has to be someone that says, no, this is not going to work. But as it stands, right, it's like everybody's just, yes, ma, yes, sir. Nobody is even going the other way. Nobody's
which is not supposed to be so.
That's the point.
Why? Because, if you look at the essence...
You should have people that would argue with you that, no, this cannot fly. This card thing you're talking about, if we had a National Assembly that was working and a judiciary that was working, those are supposed to be the checkmate for the executives.
If you look at the elementary government, if you actually look at the elementary government, the essence where you have government, because nothing is, that's why you keep hearing people say we're not practicing true federalism, or, we're not practicing democracy as it should be, because it's, a sham on its own, what we're doing right now. Now, the three arms of government, they were created, and then you have the principle of separation and checks and balances. And that's why you have, the three arms of government, different from the three tiers of government. So you have the executive, you have the legislature, and you have the judiciary. And each of this body has a function. They're supposed to check the excesses of
one another.
So because we already understand that absolute power corrupts absolutely, and the executive can be, overly zealous sometimes. And that's why you have the judiciary, that's why you have the executive to check the excesses.
There's no check.
But you see, at the end of the day, it's just free for all. Everything goes.
So anything, so it's almost, so that's why they call them like a rubber stamp assembly. But hey, let's take a break, right? When we come back from that break, let's discuss 20 million children out of school. Stay with us, we'll be right back. All right, thanks for staying with us. Tonight we'll be discussing former President Obasanjo's response to the World Bank's alarming report of 20 million out-of-school children. Now, the former President Olusegun Obasanjo had expressed deep concerns about Nigeria's out-of-school children's crisis, emphasizing its failure's implication. Currently, 20 million children are out of school, a figure that has persisted despite efforts over the years. Now, for context, right, in 2021, there were 10.5 million out-of-school children, which increased to 13 million in 2022 and 18 million in 2023. So as we entered 2024, the projections indicate that the numbers remains around 20 million children that are out of school. If you recall, during Jonathan's administration, educational reforms were hindered by Boko Haram insurgency, particularly affecting northern region. Now, the Buhari's administration also faced escalating insecurities and violence against people going to school, further exacerbating the crisis, which initiatives like the National Homegrown School Feeding Program aimed or tried to boost enrollment, but it was still inadequate in addressing the rising violence. Now, the Tinubu's administration has emphasized security and education, and they've also proposed policies to improve access. But the success of these measures is still uncertain. This ongoing crisis poses significant challenges for Nigeria's youth and the nation's future. So tonight we'll be exploring the implications of and how this 20 million out of school children, how it's going to impact us as a people, right? What are the potential threats? What are the immediate threats? What are the, what's it called? How it's going to impact generally, I mean, just life in general in Nigeria. That's the conversation. All right, so ladies, let me come to you. Education is one of the pain point for me. I hope I do not scream today. I'm trying to be calm. But so as it stands right now, I don't know how you see the seriousness of our present government to wanting to like reduce or fight children dropping out of school. How do they plan to curb it? Because there's so many things that are being thrown at these children, right? If you go to the north, up north, you're seeing children that are unable to go to school because, again, of insecurity. How children will be in classrooms and people would come with trucks, not even one, not two, and they will pack children and they will take them, and they will hear the news that XYZ number of children have been kidnapped. If you move down south, poverty, as the economy is getting volatile, and what's it called, the purchasing power of people is reducing. People are now weighing their options. What is, you know, what is important? You know, is it school that is important or the child has to feed? So people are now saying, you know what, school can wait. Let us feed first, you understand? Because that's what is happening. Then you see cases of again, poverty. Instead of me taking you to school, I'd rather go and sell you to somebody or hand you over to somebody so that the person can be paying me a monthly fee. So child slavery is still part of that mix. So there's just a lot of things, right, that is just being thrown at these children. And for us to have a whopping, so if they say we are 200 million people and they have a whopping
More than 200 million people now.
More than 200. I think about 220 million or so.
Thereabout.
And we have a whopping 20 million children out of school. I don't know how our leaders are able to sleep with these numbers. Because if not me, I can't sleep.
That not be you.
Like literally, how would you have 20 million children that are supposed to be in school, eligible for school? Because if you go, the other day we were going home. My driver kept on saying that, Ma, where are all these children coming from? Because this our junction alone, I can tell you that for the past like 3 months, the way the numbers of these children have quadrupled from that junction to Jakonde to Ikate, everywhere. That's what we're saying, because these are potential criminals. Because if anything happens, I remember when that I'm talking too much. When that the xenophobic something that happened, that they started attacking the malls, the shopping mall. It was the people in this traffic that immediately started taking stones, smashing into people's cars and just grabbing all the things they could grab before they started going into supermarkets and all of that. So these are like, when we say on our promo that time bomb, they are taking time bombs because it would explode. And I don't understand how our leaders are able to sleep. You understand? 20 million children are out of school, and the National Assembly is bothered about Very Jackman and Bobrisky. Does it make any sense? So that's why I'm saying that I completely agree with what's his name, Patutomi, saying that what's it called? This National Assembly is the worst thing that ever happened to Nigeria.
Because
No, but okay, go ahead with your thoughts.
Promise I was not going to scream.
no, but it's the same thing, because at the end of the day, what I'm thinking is these are the people they want to turn into touts for elections.
Oh well,
Yes.
that's I don't know what that is. I mean, that's a thought. That's something.
Because
to
what
think
are they going
about.
to do? You should
No, but she's
I mean, I'm
being
just saying that
correct
that's
because
no.
Because
what do you do with
what do you do? With
I
do
hands?
hands.
So
I know somebody who said, oh, after a while they should just go and put them in the military or put them in the armed police force or something. You know?
But that's even in itself, that one is even worse. Because we're not supposed to be having people that don't have direction for their life going to our security architecture. We are not supposed to do that. People that are supposed to be going into the police, the military, the air force and all are supposed to be
who are mentally
sound
stable.
people. Continue, Mercy.
Oh well, so I mean, I've been wondering, where to start from, but I think I'll start off on this note that, it would be wrong to actually place the responsibility entirely on, the center or the federal government. The burden of out-of-school children entirely on the federal government without much consideration of the, the central role played by state governments, local governments, and communities, including traditional rulers. Because once upon a time, if you cast your mind back, it was a great deal for, you see how community leaders were very concerned. That system we lived in, when people did not want to see a child, they'll ask you, why are you not in school? They will go and meet your mama. Oh, we saw your child outside. Why is she not in school? Why? I saw this one on the road to the stream. Why is she not in the classroom? So it is a collective responsibility. And if you also look at the structure that we already have, because we currently, under the current system that we have, the concurrent, under the concurrent legislative list, education is within it. That would mean that it is not entirely the responsibility of, the center, but it is a combination. So there has to be like a coordination between the executive arm, the federal government and the state government, to legislate. But if you also still want to look at the issue of education, basic education, early child development, especially primary and secondary education, almost, exclusive preserve of the state government. And then you want to also believe that because, if you look at the, I hope I pronounced that correctly, the Universal Basic Education Board. I think they call it the UBEC or something like that. So that's also a law that Act of 2004, if I'm not mistaken, was actually out there where the government actually puts like 2% of some funding to support the education at the level. So we understand this. It also brings me back to what I'm trying to say is that there's a responsibility.
And it has to be shared.
It has to be shared. It has to be cut across, the entire strata of government. So from the federal government to the local government to the state government and to, the communities. Even though if you look at the responsibility entirely, the bulk of the work is on state government. So it brings me back to this data that I saw from 2002. It's of the National Mass Education Program Initiative, that reported about Northern Nigeria and the highest percentage of out-of-school children. So the breakdown, we looked at Kebbi having 67.6% out-of-school children, which is about the highest, followed by Sokoto, 66.4%, and Yobo had 62%. I beg your pardon, Yobe State had 62.9%, Zamfara had 61% in that order, Bauchi had 55.7%, and Borno had 54.2%, Jigawa with 51%. I think it's going that way with Gombe 48% and Katsina 45.9%. And then you also have Niger 42.8%, Kanu 39.2%, Taraba State 28%, Nasarawa had 25.9%, and Plateau 23.2%. Kwara State also had 22%, Kaduna with 21.9%, Adamawa. Now, if you come back to the Southwest, it felt like the Southwest picked up from where you had this northern state. So it followed by Oyo State with 20.9%, Ogun State with 20.5%, Benue State 18.4%, Ebonyi 16%.
So wait,
now, if you also come back to other states now, like in the South, you find out that the states like Akwa Ibom State was experiencing a lower percentage, which is 10.6%.
Hey, so I was going to come. So this is where I want to come.
Abia State 5.6%. And, it goes that way.
Which goes back to my initial point, right? Why the numbers were high. And that's why you cannot really remove you can't say that at that point it's no longer a shared responsibility. Who is in charge of security in the country?
So
it is the federal government.
So I understand.
You get what I'm pointing?
Okay, I'll allow you land your point.
I mean, this your statistics clearly shows that yes, I hear you that the responsibility has to be shared, but the federal government has the bulk of the work, because guess what? If the structure is right, every other player would be able to they will be able to perform certain kinds of function. But hold your thoughts, right? Let's go on a very short break. When we come back, because I want to open our phone lines, we'll be right back. Stay with us. Now, if you just tuned in, thanks for staying with us. This is our Ladies' Night Out. We're discussing 20 million children that are out of school. What do you think this impact will look like, right? On our security architecture, our economy, and everything, right? Please, let's hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join the conversation. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081-803-4663. You can also call our numbers, right? 07025007749 or 07014242420. Do you think these numbers can be reduced with the current situation that we're facing economically in Nigeria, or do you see it going higher? And if you have maybe like suggestions on how we can bring down this number, I would love to really hear your thoughts. So Mercy, please help me land that point, because the argument I am making is, if you check that statistics you have reeled out, you will see that as you keep coming down south, you see the numbers are going down drastically. That's to tell you that first of all, the bulk of the issue, right, lies, the bulk of the issue lies around what the security architecture is looking like in Nigeria. Because most of these people at the core northern areas are not able to go to school freely without the fear of being kidnapped, or, you know, those mass kidnapping that they do. Down south, when you see people don't go to school, it is economical. It's the fact that cost of living is rising and parents are having to decide which is more important. Should I say my child should go to school, or I should feed my child? Do you understand? So a lot of people are opting more for homeschooling. They're opting more for private lessons and now using that money to feed. But I want you to please land that point.
So, I mean, I'm not even disputing the fact that insecurity is not also a major factor why you have the dropout, the number in the north on the high, the spot of insecurity, or the rate of insecurity, especially in the northeastern part of the country, is responsible for that statistic. So I'm not in dispute. But I also want to let you know that, or state that, it is also not, insecurity is just one factor amongst other factors. And so you also want to look at cultural, you know, beliefs or behavior. For instance, the issue of, you know, population increase. If you notice, because of the cultural belief and practices, especially in the north, you find out that the population is actually on the high, where, you know, early marriage is actually being encouraged. Children are being withdrawn from schools because they have to give them out to marriages. And then don't also forget the Amalgiri situation, which has also been there. I mean, you grew up in the north, so you're very conversant with that particular concept. So there are other issues. And we understand that the biggest one, which is very obvious, is the fact that a certain group decided to declare education a haram. You know that.
Let's say Boko is,
you know,
education
exactly
is a sin. Haram is like
haram,
like taboo.
Haram, taboo.
So, and then you also want to have other issues like, you know, pastoral issues. There are a lot of factors, and like I always say, the issue of governance is not it's a collective responsibility. We all have a role to play. If you also look at it recently, now let's come back to the South and this other part where you think that insecurity might not be the reason why you have these kids dropping out, but you also want to begin to look at the factors. What's the push factor there? Poverty might be, you know, top on the list. Now, we have a problem of birth control. We have a thing, it's a belief. A lot of people don't think logically, but they just follow cultural belief and they just follow the sentiment and they say, so for instance, so many persons believe that children are the gift from God, which is very okay to say that. And they believe that it's okay to go ahead and have a lot of children as much as you can without juxtaposing that with, you know, economic capacity. We're not talking about the fact that, you know, there's inflation and the economy is going through a tough time right now. We're just saying that basically you have a lot of people who are going. So it brings me back to what I'm just trying to say is that when you have cultural factors and beliefs that also affect how people behave, withdrawing children from school, people think that you need to have more children and you don't have the means to cater for, it becomes a problem. But it's also government's responsibility
that a lot of
to
people
cater
that had,
and educate,
A lot of people,
No,
Franca,
so-
let me come to you. A lot of people that had plenty children. Most of these people, don't forget,
That's a
they're
minor.
nomadic. No, hold
Yeah,
on.
go ahead.
They're farmers.
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you understand? So most times when you see some of those ones having a lot of children, they are looking for people that will come and be, tilling the land. So it's not just all about the fact that they don't want the... So this is where I think government plays a crucial role. You understand? There's mind education. I was in the midst of a lot of people that didn't believe in education. But somebody just pointed, I told you how I would come back from school, I would take off my uniforms, and I would start teaching my neighbors all the things I'd learned in school.
But you and I are
Hold
saying
on,
the
let
same
me
thing.
finish. Let me finish. When
don't-
we're not saying the same
But you
thing.
guys are not saying the same
I'm
thing.
saying that if the government takes it upon themselves, I get you, that ignorance is there. I get you, those people believe that the children are a gift from God. They
Yeah,
want to have more
culture-
children and all
even
of
the
that.
cultural
But
belief
imagine
and
if
all
the
that.
government is intentional. What is our National Orientation Agency doing? You understand? But hold on, let me come to Franca. Because what are your thoughts? What are the threats you see? Because 20 million children out of school, your National Assembly, they are not talking about it. Instead, they are talking Bobrisky
So I
and
honestly-
VDM and how somebody is not
as
in the
much
prison.
so I'm going to refer to you. As much as I see that you want to talk about the cultural beliefs, the cultural culture, the ethical beliefs and everything and the regions, what we're saying is there are certain things that should be basic in every country. And I think education is key. I know they used to preach before now that if you should invest in education because that's the future. You shouldn't now encourage people, you understand, watch. You know, this was the issue we're discussing when they said they increased school fees. This was one of the issues that we're saying that
More people will drop out.
So we're saying that...
So let her finish.
So because the truth is, I have seen families that they actually want their kids to go to school and they tell one of the children, stay at home for 2 years, let this
Yes,
one
let this
graduate,
one graduate
let this one
first.
finish. So it is not a matter of, I know, I even thought you were going to say before Boko Haram and kidnapping, the schooling in the north the numbers were still high in the north. I
Yes.
get that. So we don't want to make it about insecurity, but even at that, before Boko Haram, these things are the things that the government should lay more emphasis on. You know, instead of going to have I don't know what they are doing with VDN and the rest of them, spending so much money, people who are supposed to be doing things are going for one hearing or the other. Teach people, even the farmers, educate, put things out there.
There is nobody right now, There's nobody right now
Who is not on social media.
and even outside of even social media, I'm saying that you see these people that you think that they are so ignorant, they are this, they don't like. That's a big lie. If I was not raised in the north, if I didn't live in the north, I would have believed that lie. Do you get what I'm saying? If a government is serious because the government understands the power of education, they know what an educated mind can achieve. They know that an educated mind cannot be manipulated.
That's why exactly.
Yes, an educated mind cannot be used as a tool for political, what's it called? What do they call that? Thuggery or whatever. They know all of that. And that is why you see that the educational system in this country keeps depreciating. Because if a government is serious about education, forget it. If I catch you and your child is not in school, you go to jail. That is a government that is serious. Can you try that anywhere else? That your children are 20. Do you know what it means for us to have 20 million children? And nobody's raising an alarm
Nobody's
in the National
saying
Assembly.
anything.
Nobody's saying, they're just talking about...
It's VDN that is raising an NGO that they are giving 100 million to go and pay for children to go to. That's not what part of what he wants to do.
You know, like I started this conversation, I started by saying that we have government at different levels, and I'll reiterate that again. And it therefore means that all these governments at different levels have a responsibility to play. And, you know, that is what they should be doing.
Mercy,
Now,
you're still missing the point.
You're still missing the point.
No,
You are missing. You know what I'm saying to you.
I guess you. Federal government alone.
She's even Mercy is right in the what's it called?
On textbook, yes.
On paper, you are right, because guess what? The closest person to governance is supposed to be your what do they call them? Local government people. Those are the closest people.
But you're not eliminating them from this conversation.
Wait till me and they even talk. For the local government people to be able to even do their job, there has to be, because the system in Nigeria is a federal system. Except you want to tell me you want to decentralize power. If you decentralize power and then empower these people to do work, they will do the work. Then we cannot know who to channel the fight to. I get you.
So it's not a text. It's not a text.
Textbook.
It's not a textbook, statement that I'm saying. It's actually what it is. And if you also want to look
It's
at
not
it,
practical, Messi.
So I like to approach things very holistic, in a very holistic manner. Just like you stated, you have started off, one of the major things that you've talked about is insecurity. And I couldn't have disputed, which I haven't said that is not a major factor. I've also pointed you to the fact that there are other factors that are also responsible for all of this, if you look at it. And at the end of it, we all have governments, it is a collective effort that has to address this issue. That will mean that we have to visit the root causes of these issues. If you talk about insecurity, insecurity should be tackled. So I haven't sat down yet to say that insecurity is not a major problem, especially when you look at the data that has been put out, and you look at the number of kids who have been out of school. You find out that the population is higher in the northern part of the country than in other parts of the country. And the major threat there is because of insecurity. But I also mentioned the fact that there are other, factors that are also responsible. So yes, we also have to address that. And it is government's responsibility, whether in terms of sensitization, if we need the areas of having Ministry of Orientation or sensitization to create, it's still government's
Messi, I want to ask you a direct question.
No, but I think
go ahead.
I think what she's saying is she's agreeing with everything you have said, but she's just saying everything needs to be tackled at different levels.
I want to ask Messi a question.
Go ahead.
Do you see this government across all levels now, since you want to focus on all levels of government, do you see the seriousness in them trying to fight, what's it called, the educational challenges that we have in this country?
That's a different
conversation. No, it's a question.
No, wait. So if I'm going to answer that, I'm also going to let you know that I would answer your question in a very holistic manner, and it would mean that that's a different question entirely. I stated a different thing. And don't forget, I always tell you that...
I'm not asking you a question based on what you said.
No, okay, so you're asking a different question.
Yeah, she's asking a different question. She wants to get your opinion.
If we look at what's going on right now, generally, it's not, the educational sector alone is not left out. So I will start from the budget, and I think that's where I always talk about, everything. They always say, in a dialect that you sleep, know how debt they take day. So if we see the body language of the government in addressing economic issues, how they're spending money, you just see that they don't care about anything. So I won't be here to say, the government...
First say they don't care about anything. Are they not the ones that they want to go and buy an SUV? I mean, you take stories and they want to go purchase.
So you're not...
You're dodging this question. That's right.
I'm not trying to have that argument where you were just arguing, and just
We're
going
not
back
arguing. I'm asking you a direct question.
So, like I said again, I'm telling you that if you look at the body language, I'm telling you what ought to be. I'm telling you what the problem is.
I think what
I'm also trying to say that
Messi,
if you look at the body language of this government,
let me tell you
the
what
government
it
is not doing the needful. That's what I'm saying. So first off, if we had a system, when was the last time we had... It's not in 2024 that we had local governments conducting elections. After how many years? So how effective is it? How effective do we have, the government at the third tier?
No, but Messi, when you answer this thing like this, we don't get your actual answer. She asked you a very direct question. Do you think
You want me to give you a yes or no answer?
Because you already said they're not doing anything about the budget. You said they're not serious about... So what you have said, you want us to think and get our answers.
I'm just trying to say that if you look at what's going on, do you think that they're doing anything?
No, you said... No, let me quote you. You said
Go ahead.
that with everything, they are not serious. And I'm telling you that's no. Because if you look at the budget that has been spent between the president and his deputy or his vice president, Shetima, that also made news about how they spent lavish money. You understand? And how many trips that they have made.
I think that you're being sarcastic.
No, I'm not being sarcastic.
So I'm just stating because you're asking me something.
I asked you a simple question. You now said that...
Ask your question again. Uwa, just ask your question again.
Because I'm taking it back now. It looks as though...
Do you know how painful this is? Do you get what I'm saying? Because education is the only thing that I see that can get people out of poverty.
Yeah, exactly.
Like literally, you can be a nobody today and become somebody tomorrow based on the fact that you have been enlightened, you have been educated, you have knowledge to do something. And all of a sudden, 20 million children cannot go to school. And yet, the National Assembly, the government, nobody is talking about it.
So I also think we should define what this education means. We're not saying, everybody has... You can even have...
You cannot go to... It's not even about the 4 walls of the university. Now, God will bless you because I wrote it down here. I wrote education and I put vocational schools,
Yeah,
skills.
vocational
Because
skills.
what you need, you need to empower people. What does education give you? It gives you empowerment. It gives you enlightenment. It opens your mind.
So it's not even about paying. It's just a place where they can learn skills and turn their lives into, instead of standing on the streets and doing all sorts. You understand? So what we're saying is, are we doing anything? What does the government need to do? I get you very well, Bessie, that you're saying, oh, there has to be a process. It's not everybody. They say na community they train Peking. I agree with you that na community they train Peking, but there are basic things that the government has to provide. She's not saying federal government alone, at all levels. The government needs to provide those things so that even the parents or whoever the community is saying, oh, we are being encouraged to do something.
I have not sat down here to tell you that.
I
have not
it.
said that the
I
government should
get
not
it,
provide.
yes.
I think we're taking the conversation because we're taking the conversation from where it started. And I started on a different note, and we're getting there. So I haven't sat down here to say government doesn't have a responsibility to play, or government is not supposed to do.
I understand. You said
we're just
culture,
dissecting
we're
the
just
issues.
breaking it down. So
you
that's
know,
why
we're
she now asked
understanding
you.
this part. And you ask me now, and I say, if you look at this government, if you see what they are spending monies to do, it does not show that they are interested in getting the children out of school.
So that means
That's what
you
I'm
have said
saying.
the
So
government
if
is not
except you want me to
serious.
say, okay, yes,
The
and
government is not serious.
that's like a straight up answer. But I'm trying to explain to you, to give you pointers that you're seeing the body language of the government. You're
Clearly,
seeing how
they are
much
not-
they're doing. They
clearly,
are not
so they're not
interested.
interested.
At all levels. We have seen how much the state government in, even in Akwa Ibom State, as much as 7 or 6% of out-of-school children, does not mean it's not significant. It is significant. If you go to other states, but you see that they are budgeting monies to buy new cars. What happened to the old ones? What happened to those other ones? So I'm literally saying, I'm not here. I couldn't have been here because, of course, I'm a journalist, to defend the rights of the people to speak the truth. So I won't be sitting here to say, oh, this is what it is. I might not have the figures or statistics to back them up, but I'm saying that even a blind man can see that the body language, the action from the government is not even showing that. And everybody's just chilling, buying cars, taking trips, and we're not talking about this. But like I said again, there has to be a coordinated effort. It is a collaborative effort because that education is on the concurrent list. And it would, when it's on the concurrent list, it means that you as the federal government and I as a state government, we come together. There's a role.
Even the local
Do you understand?
government, even
now,
the
when security is a
individuals.
security, so it brings us back to the issue. So if we look at the issue of security or insecurity, especially that is on the high in the northern part of the country, but not to say that it's also not, rampant in other parts of the country.
So Mr. We agree
government
with
is
you.
also there.
Yes, I agree with you on everything you have said.
So why
And
is
I
that
also
I'm not
agree.
saying?
No, so I think the only thing is you're not being direct. That's
What do you mean by being direct?
She has finally been.
No. We're just, no, you ask me a question, you allow me to express my answers the way I can, because I'm not a yes or no person.
I agree.
I will talk.
I agree.
Do you get
So
what I
let's
mean?
go back
We
to what
agree.
I had said earlier when I was taking my story about action learning, because let us find the solution.
Yes.
How do you think that we can reduce these numbers? Because I think this is alarming. And for me, it's not even so much of the current situation. It is what it would also birth in the future. So this is how it plays out. You see these children that are out of school. Most of them that are girls get pregnant, give birth to more children out of school. It just becomes a what's it called? A snowball effect, right? So we have so many children that would be jobless, that would be idle, and all of that. What happens? Automatically, crime would go up. A lot of all the vices, social vices that we are seeing today would go up. But here we have a caller. Good evening, Loma. Good evening. Loma, you're live. Can you hear us? Okay, so I think he's distracted.
So from what you just said, you see, it now takes
How
us
do we
back
find
to
the
so it
solution?
now takes us back to what Messi was speaking about the culture and all that. Certain things have to be put in place. Like I remember in China, do you know there was a time they said, oh, if you can't have more than 2 kids, those kind of things. I think that's where she was coming from to say that.
You can't do that in Nigeria. It won't
That's
work.
what, yeah, you won't do it in Nigeria. That's what she's saying, that, having children, unnecessary children, you're saying God. So it even starts from the church. It starts from, because I know churches will say,
That's why I said, you see, that's why I said action learning. It is
It's
everybody
everywhere.
at all
All
levels
levels.
of the country should take part. To
yes.
help deal with the problem and
It is
make
continuous-
changes.
it is just
it's
continuous-
it's a collective effort.
Do you also know that there's also another set of people who get out of school, children who you think that your child is in school, but your child is not in school because they're out. It's not because Boko Haram has threatened them. It's not because you don't have school fees to pay.
Oh, no,
Or because
they're
of
just
gang
and
they
all
don't
that.
go there.
Yes.
And then we also had a thing where that time, like I said again, where people were very communal. That you will not see your child and your, the neighbor will not go say, but I saw your son outside, he's not in school. Do you get all of that?
So
That's
that's
why
why I
are you
said
not
it's
in
all
class?
hands
That's
on
why
deck.
That's what. So it's how do we do this? Everybody needs to come
And so
together.
if we have already dissected the issues, of course, we're just here having this conversation, and that's the much we
And let
can
me
do as
warn
a
all
people.
these blogs. No, because it's true. I'm being honest. All these blogs in Nigeria, it's like you people don't understand that you need to borrow yourself sense and let us solve our problem together. Because how they continue to give life to irrelevant things that don't matter. Do you know what it means for us to keep on being like this in this country and nobody's raising an alarm?
Because
everybody's just carrying on with life because focusing about who is gay, who is not gay, who is what's it called? Who is sleeping with this one, who is not sleeping in prison. Nobody is the truth. Let us face them.
And you know what that is? Because
There are important conversations to be had. Focus on those important conversations. All of these things now, all of us go collect them.
But
These are armed robbers in the making.
But you see that when you talked about who is gay and who is not gay. Now these boys on the day for school, and now they go they initiate into the gangs.
No, that's
Let me take Norma.
That's a different conversation.
Norma, your life. We don't even have time again.
Good evening, my dear sister.
Good evening.
This is Roman from Abia State. The impact of 20 million out of school children in Nigeria. See, the present administration, even the past administration, they are joking. See, if you fail to train a child, if you fail to train a child, if you fail to train your society, the impact will be so much. When you start having the results, some of them will run away from this country because a child or a mind that is not well trained will always, all the days of that person's life will sit on evil. His or her mind will be sitting on evil. And you cannot do it. Like, I just want to tell you, as it's true, a lot of people that maybe, let me call it, people that were trained, that went to school and read everything that needs want to read, at the end of the day, they are still in power. They did not do anything, they have not done anything that will change this country. Most of the people at the end of the day are well educated, but you don't see any good thing coming out of them. Some of the professors, you use them, you put them in a central position. They are the people that will win that election. They are the people that will destroy people's mandate. At the end of the day, we continue training them. I am not saying the impact of not training our children will lead to a gloomy nation. But I'm just telling you, most of the people that were trained, most of the people that are well read, at the end of the day, they disappoint us. It's quite unfortunate. You train somebody and they give the word of promise to our ears and break it to our home. It's quite unfortunate. So I'm using this opportunity to warn the present administration, please subsidize education so that people will not have time to feed their children in school.
Thank you.
We will have a great society that will make sure Nigeria is good tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's just sad, honestly. We have to have all hands on deck. Your final thoughts on this, please.
So I would say that everyone cannot, because everybody thinks that we can all leave this country, including myself, because, I mean, everyone's just saying, let's get a visa. A country's going to give us a visa and all of that. Well, the country will not fix itself. We all have a role to play. And, from everybody, from the president down to myself to everybody,
Franca.
we have a role to play.
Franca, your final thoughts.
So I just feel that it's something that we should be very intentional about, jingles. In fact, you and I can also do something. Make sure that, the kids around, everybody were being, even schools, instead of looking for, making schools very unconducive for parents and all that, make this thing very accommodating for everybody. So everybody can come in and feel comfortable and like, you know what? They should hold conventions, things like that. So
I want to warn the blog again, because today is warning day. All these all you bloggers. I've not said you should not talk about things around your entertainment or whatever. but we have real concerns in Nigeria, real social concerns. It would be nice for you to use your platform and put a voice to some of these issues. That's the only way we can solve our problems.
Yes, and make it
and
know that
nobody's
school
going
is
to come to
important.
Nigeria to help us solve our problems. So if you think you are living your life, you are there chilling in your island, they will come and meet you there. I'll not talk again past that one.
No, they should be,
So before we
have
go,
to be
thank
more
you,
intentional.
Franca and Messi.
You're tired.
I'm tired. Follow us across all our social media handle. Subscribe to our YouTube page at Official Upgrade TV. Engage. It's just tiring. You know, let's start to put our voice to issues that matter. How can you have a lot of children that are out of school and they will not be whatever? If you missed our quote for today, here it is again. Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world, and that's the truth. If we want to change Nigeria, let us get more people enlightened.
Yeah, no, but seriously, they should begin to say things about
see you
education.
guys tomorrow.
All the Gist Lover and the rest of them. Let them begin to say things.
Every time.
Hey guys, it's Oluchi for Raise Breakfast. Thanks for always tuning in. Our research has shown that you're probably not subscribed to our channel. What are you waiting for? Make sure you hit that subscribe button below so you never miss out on our latest content and stay in the loop with all things Ways. If the channel grows, it means more great content for you guys. So hit that subscribe button now.